Hi everyone, Spider-Man 1991 here on DarkAvengerINCPlus, where I'm doing a comic review for Superior Spider-Man, issue number 7. Alright, what happens in this issue is that it opens up with Doc Ock in Peter Parker's body, pretty much at night, sleeping, and Peter Parker, who's the real Peter Parker, who's a ghost, he pretty much discovers that he can get brief control of his body while Ock's sleeping. So, he's able to, briefly control his right hand and try to write out a message, but unfortunately it startles Dr. Octopus starts waking up, and Peter gets worried, so he knocks the notepad over. Then the reason that Otto was starting to wake up is because his patrol app for the spider bots went off, and the reason it went off is because the vigilante known as Cardiac, he runs this sort of free clinic for people, and he believes that he's figured out a way to save this 8-year-old girl who has brain damage by using some old technology that was used by by Dr. Octopus. And this technology, though, is held up in a police impound lot with a bunch of other supervillain tech. So Cardiac decides to go break in there, and that's the reason Spider-Man's called to the scene. So Spider-Man shows up, he fights Cardiac, and then when he discovers that Cardiac is stealing one of Dr. Octopus's old inventions, he really loses it, because Otto, as if you've been reading this series, he has a really big ego problem. So, when he discovers, wait, you're stealing my device? No one steals my device! And he starts, really going to town on Cardiac, almost as bad as what happened with Massacre. Okay, well, maybe not as bad as with Massacre, because Massacre died, but Cardiac isn't dead. So he pretty much knocks him down. It's like he's taking, and Peter's surprised at this. He's like, "That's Cardiac. It's not like you're fighting Carnage or the Hobgoblin here." And Peter is actually able to stop Otto by, controlling his body himself. By saying, well, Ghost Peter yells out, "Stop!" And then Otto just goes, "Stop!" And he briefly stops being Cardiac. He's like, wait, why did I just do that? And unfortunately, though, that allows Cardiac enough time to grab the device and escape. But right afterwards, when Cardiac escapes, Spidey's Avengers ID card goes off, and he's called to Avengers Tower. When he goes there, the Avengers, who in this issue consist of Captain America, Wolverine, Thor, Black Widow, and Spider-Woman, all want to discuss his recent actions because they think he's been acting really different, really hardcore, really harder on all the criminals he's been fighting, and Massacre's dead, so they want to talk about that. But Spider-Man, he's like, "I have nothing to say to you," and Cap says, "Look, we want to run some tests just to make sure you're normal." He says, "I'm not," and Spider-Man, I was just like, "I'm out of here," and of course, Cap says that wasn't a request, and so they pretty much have to fight Spider-Man to get him to stay so that they can run the tests to make sure he's all right. And Ghost Peter, he's watching this, going, "Oh man, I wish I had some popcorn right now." And so Spider-Ock is about to fight the Avengers. That's where the issue ends. I'm really liking Superior Spider-Man. If you've been watching my weekly reviews, then you know that this is pretty much my favorite Marvel comic. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, and but now it really seems like Otto's big plan to replace Peter Parker is now starting to unravel. Well, it feels that way because now people are starting to notice that this is not the same Spider-Man. Okay, especially after he killed Massacre, people are now starting to notice. Okay, because Otto, he's pretty much given every single villain a hard time. It doesn't matter who it is, if they're just if they're just stealing a wall, some guy stealing a wallet, he'll beat him like he's a goblin. And now it's really starting to catch the eye of the Avengers, and they hope that they can figure out what's wrong with him or if he's normal. And I think, here's the thing though, the thing that Ock did was he pretty much had his brainwaves rewritten to be like Peter Parker. So, they could probably scan his mind, and the only way they could do that is the only way that they could really know for sure is if they have someone actually probe Spider-Ock's mind, and knowing that that's Dr. Octopus and also that Peter Parker's in there. That can help them figure it out, but we really don't know what's going to happen. However, the story arc of this is called Fired, and of course this obviously refers to the Avengers. So the way it sounds, Spider-Man might get kicked off the team. Not really. I thought that at first, but then I was kind of like, well, they could give him the test, they could figure out that nothing's wrong, but they could still be worried about his recent actions. So really, he might not just be off the Avengers for altogether. He might just be on a probationary period where he won't be he'll probably just be on the reserve, or Spider-Man will probably be on the reserve list, or he'll just be on the on probation or something like that. It is but yeah, I still wouldn't rule out the possibility that he gets kicked out, especially since he's fighting all of them. And I did see the previews for the next issue, number 8, and it does seem like they knock him out in order to be able to run the tests. So, who knows what the Avengers will find. But it really doesn't look good for Spidey's membership with them. Overall, Superior Spider-Man is a great title. It is interesting to see a villain trying to be a hero, but like I said before, Doc Ock has his flaws, particularly his ego. Okay, it's his ego that's been his main Achilles heel, and I think it's going to be his ego that leads to his ultimate downfall. Okay, so, Superior Spider-Man is definitely my favorite Marvel Now title. I cannot recommend that people check this out enough, and I would say start with issue number 7, because right now this is probably a good jump on point for you. And then number 8, and then we're going to get to issue 9, which apparently will be a quote-unquote big game changer. I hope it is. I hope something happens in that issue. But, right now this Avengers story arc is pretty nice, so, if you can get I'd say number 7 is a good jump on point for people. Okay, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing to Dark Avenger Inc. Plus, Spider-Man 1991, and see you later.